It is indeed a joy and a privilege to be back in this beautiful place with this beautiful congregation. And I want to begin by saying thank you so much to Father Michael for his warm hospitality. Not only did he meet me yesterday at the airport, but he also dined me yesterday evening, and it was wonderful. I will not bore you with all that I ate at the diner, and then what I took home to the hotel, and what I had before I went to sleep. It's too sinful to tell you publicly. But Father, thank you so much. And again, Joel, I missed you yesterday, but I'm glad to see you today. Joel met me when I came in on the 10th of February, 2018. So it's good. Today is special in this congregation for many reasons. Not only are you celebrating your Mission Sunday, it's also the last Sunday after the Epiphany. And in just, 2-3 days, it's going to be Lent. Ash Wednesday, when we move from this beautiful color of green to another beautiful color of purple, and with all the significance of that. But what strikes me so much in the gospel is the moments we have with Jesus when we are taken to another level, when we want to remain on that mountain with him. And I know that all of us have had that kind of mountaintop experience at one point or the other. Sometimes it lasts for a while, sometimes not so long. But many of us like to remain there. You go to a conference or a workshop and you enjoy to say, oh my gosh, I want to take it back to my church and just keep living that moment. Or you're watching, the birth of a child or grandchild and your heart warms and you say, you know what, I'd like to have another child. Or the joy, you want that to remain with you. Or you're at the Eucharist, the Father preaches, or you go to the altar and you receive the communion, and something happens within you, and you want to keep that moment. I think it's something like that happened to Peter. And I love Peter because he's so real. I don't know how many Peters there are in this church. I'm not too much of a Peter. I tend to think a lot before I speak or before I do anything. But there are persons who jump and then they say, oh my God, did I just jump? Where am I going to land? I tend to do a lot of thinking before I begin jumping. Sometimes I wait too long. But Peter was experiencing that moment, and he turned to Jesus. I could just see him sitting there touching Jesus. He didn't want to disturb Moses or Elijah, touch Jesus on their shoulder. He said, guess what? Let me make 3 houses, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. Of course, we'll stay up here with you. We're not going to leave 3 alone up here because it's such a wonderful moment. And then something happened immediately. The voice came saying, this is my son, my beloved, with whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him. It's sort of strange that happened at that moment, because Peter is experiencing a real human moment, a real intense moment. And then God is going to step right into the middle of that and say, hold on a minute. That's my son. But it's not just my son. It's my beloved son. But not just my beloved. Listen to him. And I do not know what Jesus said. The scripture does not really tell us. Except when Jesus said, get up and do not be afraid. But Jesus might have said something, hey, Peter, I don't think so. Let's go back down the mountain, because that's where we're called to minister. And what I find, and of course he said something strange again towards the end, tell no one about the vision until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. But what I find is that we as Christians, and more so as the presiding bishop calls it, the Episcopal branch of the Jesus movement, we tend not to tell people about the good things that we experience on the mountain or on the plain. We'll go to a movie and you'll call a friend and say, have you seen such and such a movie? It is good. It is showing at such and such a place. And make sure you see it. Or have you been to that restaurant? God, the food is good. And the desserts that they had last night, we didn't buy any. But I took home some banana bread. It is good. You know, we witness to the things that we want to witness about. The school, my child went to a beautiful school. The professors are excellent. My daughter had a wonderful experience with them. And when she got her degree, I have to tell you, let me tell you a little joke about that. And there was a Jamaican woman who went to her son's graduation. He got a bachelor's degree, and she did not have a chance to go to school. And as she watched him walk down with the hood, she said, oh Lord, look at the education hanging down behind him. You know, but you know, the thing is, we do not witness enough as Episcopalians. And missions is all about witnessing to the love of Jesus Christ in our lives. That's what mission is all about. Witnessing to the love of God in the way we know best. Some of us preach, but who was it who said, preach all the time but use words only when necessary? So let your lives become a sermon. I was reading something somewhere, and I was reminded of this a few Sundays ago when we had the gospel reading, you are the salt of the earth and you're the light of the earth. Remember, that was about 2 Sundays or so ago. Somebody said, when the sun shines, the sun does not shine for itself. It shines to give us warmth and light. And I heard Father comment on it this morning about the sun shining. Very unlike that day when you picked me up, Joel, with the snow on the ground and my shoes getting soaked and all of that. When the trees give fruits, they don't give fruits for themselves. They give fruits for us. The leaves are for us, the shadow, the wood for us to make pews and altars and so on. Yes, you have a wooden altar. So, in the same way, we as Christians, and I think this is one of the things that Jesus was saying, the experience that you've just had on the mountain is not to remain on the mountain. You must take it back into the valley or on the plains and share it. 38 years ago, a ministry was called into being called Food for the Poor. And in this ministry, we have been involved, and when I say we, I'm talking about many of us sitting in this church today, because since 2004, this congregation has been involved in the ministry of Food for the Poor. And I want to begin by saying thank you. Because many times, ministries, charities will come and ask for help, whether it be money or in kind, and they never come back to say thank you. And if you ever see them again, it's always to ask for more stuff. Please don't get me wrong. I'm here today to ask for more stuff too. But I'm here first of all to say thank you, because like the one person who went back to Jesus, it meant something to Jesus. Jesus said, were there not 15 cleansed?
10.
Oh, thank you. One of the things with congregations, they tend to believe the priest no matter what the priest says. Challenge your priest. Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? Only one came back to say thanks. And I want to be that one I want to be one who comes back to say thank you to this congregation. And I also want to share with you some of what has happened with your gifts. And I'm sure you're going to be pleased when I tell you. Father told me that one of the criticisms of Food for the Poor is that we send out too much mailing. And I heard that, and I've heard that in many places. Let me tell you quickly what you can do. If you think you receive too many mailings, call the number on that flyer and tell us how many mailings you'd like to receive. And we will honor that. If you say 2, we will honor that. The power is in your hand. But one of the things we like to do is to tell you what we're doing, and we also like to tell you thanks. So if you send us $1, you're going to get a letter back saying thanks. And if you send another $1, you're going to get another letter saying thanks. And then later you're going to get a letter saying this is what we've done. So even though we do not send a letter out to ask for more money, we want you to know what is happening. So today, I've come to do an additional 3 things, and I'll keep doing those 3 things. 1, to pray for the ministry, because prayer is crucial in our lives. We have a department that focuses only on prayer. If you have prayer requests and you send it into the office, we have a department, they pray, take seriously whatever your requests are. And they even call you to follow up to tell you that we prayed for you on such and such a day, and we hope that things are going well or whatever. So do not be afraid to use that department. And you don't pay for that, because it's a loving response to God in our lives. Secondly, I've asked, every time I travel, I ask people to do a mission trip, to see for yourself how God is blessing this ministry. How persons with nothing, how children who are sleeping on the ground, inhaling the dust, having the rain fall and wet them, come through the roof and soak them. How we're able to buy a house for them, make a house for them, build a house for them, and how they're able to walk into it. You see that for yourself. And you'll meet those persons who have been blessed through your ministry of love, through your ministry of generosity. The third thing I ask is that you look at this brochure, each person has one, and share it with your family and your friends. Now let me just show you one thing to start with. If you just open it, just the first opening, just one opening, you will see on the one side a family in front of a shack that they call a house. That's where they live. And through your ministry of love and your ministry of generosity, look on the other side and see where that family now lives. A house made of cement with windows and doors that actually lock and with corrugated roof. That is a ministry of love. Many times you'll give $50 or $100 or $3,800 or whatever you give, and you'll wonder, where is it going? What is it doing? It's not only building a house. Look at the faces. Look at the difference of the faces in those pictures. And you will see that you're also giving people hope. You're giving people hope. They said money cannot buy love. Money can buy a lot of stuff. Money can buy the things that lead to other things. You buy hope and you save lives. So I want to let you know, I want to give you a few facts, and later after church, if you want, I can give you some more details. Last year, Food for the Poor, through your kind offerings, was able to build almost 5,000 of these houses. 2 bedrooms, living room, bathroom facilities, and we've started now to give a solar packet so that they can get lighting, because many of these houses we build are not anywhere near the electric grid. We also put water in villages. And when we do that, we save children, especially the little girls, because they're the ones who have to go 3 miles down the mountainside to get water, and most times it's contaminated. So they go down early in the morning before the sun comes up, and they carry these 5-gallon containers on their heads, and they do this maybe 2-3 times a day. So many of the girls will grow with a curvature of their spines, which is never ever fixed, because they have no medical attention. And many times we have unscrupulous men who will molest these girls early in the morning. So when we put one water system in the middle of a village, do you see how you're saving lives? You're allowing girls to be children, and you're also allowing them to be saved from unscrupulous persons. They can now go to school, and they can also now drink fresh water. So a gift is not only giving water, a gift is giving hope and life. That to me is major. That's why I've come back to say thank you. Last year alone, we provided for malnourished children and their families 304 million meals in 1 year because of you. I want to say thanks. If I'm saying thanks too much, tell me. But my heart is full, and I cannot help but say thank you. I live in Puerto Rico. After Maria, we had, and I was able to share some of that when I came the first time. Since then, we've had several earthquakes. The Episcopal Church alone has had 18 of our churches damaged. 18. 2 will not survive. The other 16 can be repaired. They're in varying degrees of disrepair right now. Some of them only have cracks, but some of them, major walls have to be replaced. 2, as I said, will have to be demolished. And in the southwestern part of the country, the Episcopal Church and the Roman Catholic Church are doing tremendous work in resettling people and taking care of those who have been moved out of their houses. So, how can you help? What can you do? We've made it easier now. Now on your brochure, there's a yellow line. That's where you tear. Remember in the past I had to explain where to find. Now all you do is find that yellow line and just tear along that yellow line. Now, the house. Because a house costs $7,600, we asked for 2 generous donations of $3,800 each. And we put those 2 together, and with that we can build a house. And we take a photograph of the family in front of this home, and we send it to you, which you can frame and keep as a Thanksgiving offering, as a Thanksgiving from the people to you. $30 can buy 20 chickens. Every time we give a home, we give 2 chickens and a rooster, so that folks can have eggs and chicken, and they can begin to develop a coop with more than 3. And we also teach them how to manage these things, because Food for the Poor is not focusing only on immediate relief. We believe in sustainability. So we teach them how to fish. Literally, in Haiti and in other countries, we give 2 fishing boats, an outboard motor, and we teach them how to fish. They form a co-op, so they own the business. And the co-op must include trained fishermen, and they must have women in that group. They must also have young people in that group to learn how to fish. And when they bring their first catch in, they must give away 10% of the fish to people who cannot afford to purchase fish. So the money stretches. The gift goes on. It's the gift that keeps giving. So I want to say thank you again. And with Father's permission, as I said, you tear this off and you can put your gift in this self-mailer. A self-mailer which I'm asking you not to mail. Why am I asking you not to mail it? Because the cost of a postage stamp can feed a child for almost 1 week. So when I take these gifts, you're actually giving food to a child for almost 1 week. We never sell or barter or exchange your information. You can fill this up, just tear this part off and put it inside of the self-mailer along with your prayer request. Seal it and put it on the plate. Is it okay to be blessed before I get them?
Sure. We have a separate plate for that.
Okay. So if you put it in that separate plate, it will be blessed, and then I'll be able to collect those. Now, for those who did not walk with a checkbook, we have something now. You can text the word kindness to 51555. 51555, and it opens up a place on your cell phones, and you can make your donation that way. And I'm going to end with a story. It's a story of a little boy who went to his mother and asked for 2 sandwiches. And she gave them to him. And he put one in one bag and one in another. And then he asked for 2 cans of juice, and he put one in one bag and one in another. And off he went to the car and sat beside a bag lady. And he began to eat his sandwich, of course. She began to salivate. So he gave her the other bag. And she began to eat her sandwich and to have her juice. And together they ate, and they looked at each other, and they smiled at each other until they were both finished. He ran over to her and he kissed her on the face, and he said, "I have to go home now. My mother is probably wondering where I am." So off he ran up the stairs into the house and shouted, Mom, guess what? Today I met God, but I didn't know that God was a woman." At the same time, she was saying to one of her friends, "Guess what? Today I met God, but I didn't know that God was so young." And it's true. Jesus said, "For as much as you've done it unto one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you have done it unto me." Today I invite you again to be Christ to others, even as they become Christ to you. May God bless you on this your missionary Sunday. May God bless your priest, and may God bless your ministry of hospitality and love. Thank you.